Hello friends, welcome to Bookku. Today, we're going to talk about the book Win Your Next Hour by Danny Lehr. John used to run a small grocery store in a small town. Even though his store wasn't very big, he had a great relationship with his customers. He always greeted them with a smile, remembered their preferences, and even extended credit when needed. But deep down, John had an unfulfilled desire to grow beyond his shop and try something new. However, fear always stood in his way. At night, after closing the shop, he would sit alone and think, is this all I'll ever do? Or will I ever achieve something bigger? Every time a new idea came to him, it was followed by fear. What if I fail? What if I lose money? What will people say? Then one day, his friend gave him a book, Win Your Next Hour, How to Get Unstuck and Turn Your Dreams into Reality by Danny Lehr. At first, John put the book aside. But that night, when he couldn't sleep, he opened it and started reading. The first chapter was titled, Overcome Fears. As John kept reading, it felt like the book was talking directly to him. It said that fear holds people back, but it's just a game our mind plays. The things we think are impossible are often just walls built by our imagination. If we try to break through them, fear can become our biggest strength. John remembered how scared he was when he opened his shop for the first time. He thought, what if it fails? But slowly he managed everything. So, why was he afraid to try something new now? The next morning, John opened his shop, but something felt different. He had identified the fear inside him. He realized it wasn't really about money. He was scared of losing customers, of wasting money, and, most of all, of people's criticism. But the book said, face your fears head on. The more you avoid them, the stronger they get. But the moment you confront them, they lose their power. John thought, if that's true, why not try it? So he set up a small section in a corner of his shop with healthy snacks and organic products, something no one else in the town was selling. He knew people were slowly shifting toward healthy eating. But fear was still there. What if no one buys it? The first day, no one noticed. The second day, there was little interest. But on the third day, a woman came and asked, what's this new stuff, Jonya? John hesitated, but then reminded himself, don't let fear control you, face it. He explained the products, how they were healthier and preservative-free. The woman was doubtful, but decided to try a few items. A strange confidence filled John. He realized that fear would always be there, but if he kept running from it, he'd never create anything new. Within a few weeks, his healthy snacks and organic products started selling. The same people who were skeptical earlier were now coming back and asking for more. One night, while closing the shop, John asked himself, what if I had never tried this because of fear? He picked up the book again and opened the next chapter, because he knew this was just the beginning. John's shop was now doing better than ever. His new product idea had begun attracting customers. But as sales grew, he started feeling overwhelmed. After spending the whole day in the shop, he'd sit at night doing accounts and realize he'd forgotten many important tasks. Sometimes he forgot a customer's order or delayed a delivery. Most of all, he struggled to manage his personal life. That night, when he got home after closing the shop, his eyes landed on the same book, Win Your Next Hour. Last week, it had helped him overcome fear. Now, he was curious to learn more. He opened the book and read the next chapter. It said, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference is in how we use it. If we manage time wisely, we can achieve more in less time without burning out. John realized that this was his biggest challenge. He spent all day in the shop and still felt like time was slipping away. The next morning, he decided to observe how he used his time. He noticed he worked without any planning. He just reacted to whatever came up. That's why he often forgot important things and ended up exhausted. The book said, if you don't plan your day will control you. John made a decision to start planning his day better. From the next day, he kept a small notebook and wrote down his important tasks each morning. If you enjoy our free summaries, you can subscribe to our channel, buy our membership, or support us through UPI. Now, back to the summary. At first, this new habit felt strange, but soon he noticed it saved him time. Earlier, he would dive straight into work. Now, he first sat down and thought, what are today's top tasks? This helped him prioritize. He began to understand which tasks were urgent and which could wait. In just a few days, he felt he was accomplishing more in less time. Earlier, he used to get lost in tiny shop chores. Now, he had created a system for them. Another issue John realized was time wasting. Sometimes he would scroll through his phone or chat with friends for hours. He'd also have long, unnecessary conversations with customers. The book said, "You only have 24 hours." But a lot of time is wasted on things that don't matter. John thought, am I doing the same? He watched himself for a day and found it was true. He was wasting a lot of time. So he made a new rule: finish important work first, then enjoy your free time. Gradually, he started changing his work style. Where he used to talk for hours with customers, now he tried to serve them quickly so he could attend to more people. Tasks he used to do all by himself, he now assigned some to his helper, so he could focus on more important things. The biggest change in John's life came when he learned that multitasking isn't always good. Earlier, he tried to do everything at once, managing the shop, answering calls, and handling the cash counter. But the book said, when you focus on one task at a time, you finish it faster and better. John tried this technique and found that his mind felt less tired. He was more relaxed and his work got done faster. Within a few weeks, he realized his life was becoming more organized and peaceful. John's life had become more balanced. Not only could he now handle more customers, but he also started saving time for himself. Earlier, after closing the shop at night, he couldn't even find time to read his favorite books. But one night after reaching home from the shop, he asked himself, what if I hadn't learned to manage time properly? Smiling, he opened the next chapter of his book because he now believed that this journey was far from over. John's shop had become much more organized than before. After learning time management, he realized how chaotic his routine used to be. Now, his day was more productive, work finished quicker, and most importantly, he felt less exhausted. But there was still one habit that bothered him: procrastination. John had always been in the habit of postponing things. Whenever a new idea came to mind, he would think, I'm busy right now, I'll look into it later. Whether it was ordering essential items, updating accounts, or checking old stock, he would postpone everything to tomorrow. But that tomorrow never came. Only when the tasks piled up and became overwhelming would he panic and try to finish them all at once. That night, when John returned home, he picked up the book and began reading the next chapter, Eliminate Procrastination. It said that procrastination is the biggest obstacle in anyone's growth. It's not just the act of delaying tasks, it slowly erodes confidence and success. Postponing a task that can be done today only makes it harder. This struck John deeply. He thought, if I start doing important tasks on time, everything will become easier. But the question was, how? The book introduced a system. W/.I.N. What's important now? The idea was simple. In any moment, focus on what is the most important thing. If we start working with that mindset, procrastination can slowly fade away. The next morning, John decided to try the system. As soon as he opened the shop, he asked himself, what is the most important thing today? The first answer: check the old stock. He had been postponing it for months, thinking he'd do it when he was free, but he never was. He decided to finish it that day. He asked his helper to manage the counter and went to the storeroom. When he opened the old cartons, much of the stock had either expired or gathered so much dust it was unsellable. He got angry, thinking, if I had done this earlier, I would have saved a lot of money. But he set aside the anger and focused on learning. He made a rule to check stock every month from now on. The second important task: calculate expired stock and place a new order. He had delayed this too. He immediately called the supplier and prepared the list. John now understood how his habit of procrastination was holding him back, not just in the shop, but in personal life too. He always thought he'd start exercising for fitness, but that too was always postponed. He decided not to wait for tomorrow and start stretching exercises the very next morning. The book also mentioned, whenever you feel like delaying something, ask yourself, If I do it now, how much easier will my life become? John adopted this as well. Now, whenever he tried to delay something, he'd ask himself that question. Gradually, he noticed his habits changing. He felt more focused and disciplined. One day, a customer said, "John, your shop looks better than before. And you seem more active too." John smiled, knowing the change wasn't just in the shop, he was becoming a better person too. That night, when he picked up the book, he was excited to read the next chapter. Now he knew. Learning and growing was his true goal. His shop was more organized than ever, work was getting done on time, and he felt more energetic than before. But a new problem had begun. He was working so much that sometimes he started doubting himself. All day running the shop, then reading books at night, thinking of new ideas, and repeating the cycle the next day. John wondered if all this was draining his energy. He remembered days when he'd feel tired the moment he entered the shop, like he'd done something heavy all night. He wanted to be more productive, but if overworking was exhausting him, what was the point? That night, the next chapter was Increase Productivity Without Burnout. The book explained that productivity doesn't mean doing more work, it means doing it the right way. Blind hard work leads to burnout and poor performance. This struck John. That's exactly what he was doing, getting so caught up in work that he had no time for himself. The book shared strategies to increase output without tiring yourself. The first was take breaks. John realized he worked 6 to 7 hours straight without a pause, even skipping lunch to serve more customers. But the book advised a 5 to 10-minute break every 90 minutes to keep the brain efficient. From the next day, John made a rule to take a 5-minute break every 90 minutes. It felt strange at first, but soon he noticed that these breaks made him feel fresher and more alert. The second strategy, delegate instead of doing everything yourself. John wondered, why do I do every small task myself? He started assigning his helper tasks like counting stock, packing online orders, and handling basic accounts. This saved him a lot of time to focus on bigger tasks. The third strategy, refresh your mind during work. John remembered how, in the early days, he would listen to the radio or sit outside watching people. Now he was only caught up in work. So, he decided to spend at least 10 minutes each day doing nothing work-related. He set up a small speaker to play soft music and occasionally sat outside sipping tea and watching the road. These small changes boosted his mental energy. Within days, John felt more focused and energetic. Most importantly, he no longer felt like he was just running endlessly. One day, his old friend Vikram visited and said, "You have a new kind of energy. You don't look tired like before. What's the secret?" John smiled. If he could feel the change, and others could see it too, he knew he was on the right path. That night, John opened his book again, ready to learn the next lesson. Now, he understood that working more wasn't enough. It had to be done smartly. John had now significantly reduced his procrastination, learned how to increase productivity without burnout, and understood how to get more done without tiring himself. But a new challenge stood before him. What to do when faced with a big challenge? The shop was doing well, but big changes were needed. He had to start online selling, do social media marketing, and upgrade the shop's interior. But just thinking about it overwhelmed him. How would he manage all this? That night, the next chapter was Defeat Big Challenges Hour by Hour. The book gave a simple but powerful idea. Break big challenges into smaller tasks and focus just 1 hour at a time. John thought, if I keep thinking of the whole project, I'll always feel scared. But if I just focus on the next hour's target, things might feel easier. Next morning, he wrote his biggest challenge on a paper, start online selling. Though it sounded simple, there was a lot to do, taking product photos, writing descriptions, creating an account on an online platform, and setting up a delivery system. It felt heavy just thinking about it, but he applied the book's technique, set a 1-hour target. The first task, research the best platform for online business. For 1 hour, he focused only on that, exploring Amazon and other options. Finally, he decided to start with Amazon because it was easier for small businesses. The next day, list top 10 products. Then, take good photos of those products. By focusing just 1 hour a day, he slowly completed the entire setup. He realized that big tasks aren't actually that big. We just get scared thinking of doing everything at once. He used the same strategy for upgrading the shop's interior. 1 hour to choose flooring, another day for paint colors, then rack layout planning. Within a week, his plan was ready and stress-free to execute. A few weeks later, his online store was running and the shop had a new look. He realized that something he once thought impossible had been completed just by focusing on a few hours. One new customer came and said, "Your shop looks very professional. I saw your store on Amazon too. You're doing great." John smiled. He now understood that no challenge is too big if you break it down hour by hour. That night, when John opened the book, he was ready to learn the next lesson. His shop was now more professional than ever. Online sales had begun. The new interior impressed customers, but he still had a strange fear. Will these changes last? Will he be able to maintain this growth? The next chapter was Embrace Challenge and Consistency. The book explained that success in any field doesn't come just from facing challenges, it comes from being consistent with them. Like an athlete who trains daily, even when tired or unmotivated. John thought, I've faced big challenges, but if I don't continue them, it's all useless. To run the shop well, he had to keep putting in the same effort every day. To grow the online business, he had to market regularly and learn new skills. If he stopped, everything would slowly decline. So he created a new habit. Every morning before opening the shop, he would spend 15 minutes thinking about the 3 most important tasks of the day. This gave him clarity and helped him stay focused. But soon he faced another challenge. Some days he felt very motivated and everything went smoothly. But on other days, he didn't feel like doing anything at all. One day, his old friend Akash, a gym trainer, visited. John asked him, "Your schedule is so tough. Don't you ever feel like skipping the gym?" Akash laughed and said, "Of course I feel like skipping. But if I listened to my mood every time, I would have quit long ago. The key is I don't treat it like a choice, I treat it like a necessity." That made sense to John. He realized he had to treat the shop and online business the same way, not as a choice, but as a need. From that day, he committed that no matter what, he would spend 15 minutes every morning planning and completing his top 3 tasks. Within a few weeks, it became a habit. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end.
Like, comment, and subscribe.